Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR 25 career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we are going road course racing here from Watkins Glen, where I hope we can finally really showcase our road course abilities with this Tricon number 85, where you just saw we made an upgrade this weekend. We're bringing a level 9 engine here into Watkins Glen. Overall, the car, as you can see, looks pretty good, so I'm quite hopeful that we are going to have an opportunity this weekend to actually run really competitively. And these road courses as of late, you know, the entirety of the season, the previous three with of course Sonoma and Chicago as the most recent ones, but then earlier in the season at Circuit of the Americas, they haven't really been as kind to us as we have had them be to us in ARCA and Trucks and Xfinity as well. And I am hopeful today that things are going to change. Our first win in every series so far has been on a road course, and I'm just hopeful today that, you know, I'm not necessarily aiming for a win, because the Cup Series is a completely different animal, and we still have to upgrade our car quite a bit more, but I am hopeful that we can maybe get a top 15, maybe top 10. That would be a big deal for this Tricon Garage team. As well, this weekend, we are taking part in the Xfinity Series race, actually, with a Tricon Garage entry. So that's going to be really exciting as well. As you see the practice order, we repeat 29, Shane Van Gisbergen on the top of the board. Only one of the road course races that he has won so far this season, as we get ready now to go racing here from Watkins Glen in qualifying. Group qualifying, of course, half the field in one round, half the field in the second round. We were in Group 2 for qualifying here this weekend, as we come through onto my second lap, actually being my fastest lap that I would put up on the board. The first lap I ran, as you can see, was a 1:12.809, which was, I mean, 7 seconds better than the goal. I don't know why the goal time is so slow. But I knew I could do better, so I was out here to do exactly that, and I was really happy with how the second lap was going, and I was confident I couldn't do a whole lot better than what I was about to put down right here as we exit the final turn. I'm thinking it's going to be kind of like a 1:12.3, 1:12.4, somewhere in there to the line. It's a 1:12.408, so that would put us P9 in Group 2. That's pretty strong, as SVG was the top of the board, but overall, combining the two groups of qualifying, it ends up being SVG on pole over Christopher Bell, and we end up a little ways down the order there, but P17, our best road course qualifying effort yet. So things are looking a bit more positive coming into this weekend, and we're going to jump straight into the Xfinity Series action from Saturday afternoon. Now, this was actually at the beginning of the third and final stage that we're cutting to here of 6 laps of racing, and we had actually had a bit of a bad pit stop, taking us from outside of the top 10 down to P16 for a stage 3 restart. So we had some work to do to rebound up the running order here, as we're right behind the 20 of Brandon Jones, clearing the 18 of Williams Sawalich, and Austin Hill currently leading this race. Close call right there with the 54. Joe Gibbs, driver of Taylor Gray there. I don't really think he saw me coming, kind of cut across my nose, but it is what it is on that one. He has a big checkup here into the bus-stop chicane, but you see me taking it pretty easy as well, and still a big checkup. We get into the back of the 54 right there now, racing with some of these guys, of course, that we were so familiar with last season in the Xfinity Series now, and it's nice to come back here later in this season and get to race with some of these guys again. The Xfinity car is so much fun to drive, and honestly, I think the Xfinity Series is the most fun series in this game. Now, as we actually have a crash right there, that's Nick Sanchez off in the gravel, so that's a free position, and we would catch Brandon Jones kind of napping right here, slip to his outside on the exit of turn 1, and we're actually going to rip around the left side. We'll be side by side up the S's now, and we clear them. So up into P12 we go, as we're making some good gains early on now, as we would then very quickly, after passing that 20, get to the back of Carson Kvapil and get to his left side as we head up into the S's now, and it should be a pretty easy pass, just about clear. There we go into P11, just one spot shy of breaking back into the top 10, and we were all over the back of Taylor Gray here with just 3 laps to go. We got some trouble in the bus stop. That's Almirola. Eric Almirola's crashed off into the right side barrier there. We stay green, but he's coming back onto the racetrack right in front of his teammate there of Sawaj. It looks like he's struggling. Almirola's crashing. He's going back around. He's going to collect another teammate of the 20 of Jones. Big crash on the left side of your screen. You see multiple cars involved, and that's going to bring out the caution. Yellow is going to come out, and that's going to force NASCAR Xfinity Series overtime, as we've got a great opportunity to gain some more track position here as we'll be restarting in P10. We'll be right behind that 7 of Justin Allgaier as the green flag is back out, and we head down into turn number 1. 2 laps to go. NASCAR overtime officially underway. Taylor Gray is going to jump down in front of us right there. We'll get back up the inside of him, however. Jesse Love to the left side of the track. Connor Zilish takes the lead off the restart as well, and that number 88, so he's back out in front and in control of this race as we're right on the back of Allgaier, and he gets caught up in this huge stack up of Sheldon Creed and Sam Marin. Just like that, we've gone from 10th to 5th since the restart there in what is just half a lap, so pretty happy with that. But that would end up kind of being where we would settle in here. There's a bit of a gap to make up to Christian Eckes and beyond. Sammy Smith up there as well in P3, Hill in second, and Connor Zilish leads coming to the final lap as Sheldon Creed is putting some pressure on, but that was pretty well it for me now. I knew I wasn't going to be able to run anybody down. We brought it home in P5 here for the Xfinity Series as Connor Zilish takes victory. We jump straight into the action now. Cup Series action on Sunday afternoon, and was that ever a confidence booster, getting back in a car and running up there in the top 5 at the end of that race. Now, obviously, would have loved to have won that race, but Watkins Glen hasn't been the strongest road course for me so far in this career mode. We do have a Truck Series win here and a fuel mileage thriller, if you guys remember from a couple of months ago. But here we go now. Cup Series action Sunday afternoon. The green flag is waving. We start from P17, just behind Kyle Busch and just in front of the 23 of Bubba Wallace. Now, Bubba Wallace is the last driver in the playoffs. There's a lot of intensity because the first guy out is Alex Bowman, who starts in front of Bubba Wallace, including myself as well. And Bowman needs to make up about 60 points in 3 races to make the playoffs. However, do not forget, we have the Daytona regular season finale on the way, where we very well could see a new winner there, and that would knock out Bubba Wallace, but then it would put him in a close fight against the 17 of Chris Buescher. Now, stack up on the right side there. Busch and Priest really slow into the bus stop chicane, moving me back into P17 now as we'll get to the right side of Cindric. Man, Cindric, what happened there? He was really off the pace on the left side, so we get through into P16 now, and we'll focus in on running down. How about that 48 Ally Financial Chevrolet of Alex Bowman? Alex Bowman's had a lot of rough luck in the mid part of this season. I mean, we saw a span of like 3-4 races where he was getting in trouble and crashing, and that cost him a lot of points, and that's now the reason he is out. Of course, the new winners that we've had is the main reason he's not in the playoffs right now, and you think about the surprise winners that we've had, Shane Van Gisbergen, Austin Cindric, just to name a couple of them, both Legacy Motor Club drivers of Eric Jones in Atlanta, and then, of course, John Hunter Nemechek winning the Coca-Cola 600 on fuel mileage. So there's a lot of drivers that have kind of snuck their way into the playoffs, and it's going to be an interesting situation going into the Daytona regular season finale, where I'm going to have just as strong of a chance as anybody else to win my way into the playoffs. Now, as Alex Bowman really slow right there, allowed me to pass him for P15, and Ryan Blaney with a really awkward line into that bus stop was vulnerable for a brief moment, but he would settle back in front of me at this point now, and I was looking for a wedge adjustment going into the pit stop here. The car is driving pretty good. I mean, we're running, top 15 right now, but I definitely felt like I could loosen up the car just a little bit and get this car kind of maybe a little bit more competitive, because I definitely felt like there was more in the tank than what I had right now. And Christopher Bell, he had gotten the lead from SVG on the opening lap and hasn't looked back so far as we come to the final lap here of this opening stage from Watkins Glen and down to the back half of the circuit at this point here on this 5th lap of 5 in stage 1, just bringing it home at this point for the 15th spot. And Christopher Bell rounds the final turn. He's headed down the front straightaway. He is going to pick up the win in this opening first stage here from Watkins Glen, and we'll come through the final turn, just waiting for 10th place to cross the line, setting us up really well for the second stage here. Now, P15, quite happy. This is by far the most competitive competitive we've been on a road course so far as a Cup Series rookie. We'll come in, we'll get 4 tires, and like I said, we're going to make a little bit of a wedge adjustment. I'm at 50.0. We're going to go down to just a simple 49.0 and see how that goes going into stage 2. Hopefully we can gain some more track position. So as we get ready to go back green, Ryan Blaney actually had a bad pit stop, so he lost several positions, moving us to the right side of the track, which is absolutely phenomenal because the right side, no matter what, as we go back green, has the advantage. So don't be surprised if Shane Van Gisbergen retakes the lead of this race here into turn number 1. He's on the right side, Bell on the left, and you can already see SVG's right there, even with the number 20 as they head up into the S's where the real advantage is going to kick in. He's already clear. Shane Van Gisbergen to the lead after qualifying on pole here. Now only one road course win to the surprise of everybody here, and 100% got to say they got his road course AI wrong because he is just downright too easy to beat. But the other problem is the road course AI, they're just, the AI just hate passing each other outside of the first lap off of a restart. So that's the reason why we don't see SVG, you know, maybe lose the lead and then go back out front and drive away as he should. As we come through the carousel now and in front of that 48 of Alex Bowman into P14. Terrible exit right there for Chastain, which works perfectly for me. We draw alongside that number 1 Kubota Chevrolet, and as we head down towards the penultimate corner, we'll be still dead even with this number 1 now, about half a car length crash. Chase Elliott's off the track into the gravel. He's going to head off into the barrier. Big hit there for the number 9 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet and the winless 2020 champion. Well, it's going to continue like that here, who's also winless on road courses since the next gen had come into effect now, and we stay green. Chase Elliott's day takes a hit there. Elliott comfortably in the playoffs. He doesn't have to worry. Even without a win, he will be in the playoffs now as we continue side by side with Ross Chastain now as we head down into the S's. Can we maybe get clear? This would be for P12. Yes, we do. We slide across the nose and into P12 we go, and you would also lose out to both Alex Bowman and I believe that's, yeah, Carson Hocevar behind us in that 77 as well. So we settle in to P12 and just like that making some little gains here in the second stage, and I feel like that's kind of what we have to do because you can see it. The car, although we brought a level 9 engine, we overall, I feel like this is the best road course car we've brought. We still struggle a little bit for straight line speed, so there's still only so much we can do, but boy, we are having an absolutely fantastic run so far here from Watkins Glen, and we are just trying to finish this one out now as we're just trying to bring it to the end here in stage 2. Also trying to see what I can learn. Can I get closer to Logano? What can I learn about this number 85 Willows Pickles Toyota Camry as we come to the final lap of the stage? We had lost a little bit more time to the Shell Pennzoil Ford Mustang, but overall, I mean, we're holding on compared to the guys behind us of Alex Bowman, who, by the way, is gaining points. I mean, as it runs right now, he's not scored stage points, but going into stage 3, if it finishes as it's running right now, Alex Bowman is going to make some gains here today on Bubba Wallace and maybe give himself a fighting chance, because you do not want to be on the outside looking in going into Daytona. You don't want to be on the bubble. You don't want to be Bubba Wallace. You don't want to be Alex Bowman going into Daytona, as they will be racing for, of course, the points, but also hoping for no new winner. Shane Van Gisbergen wins stage number 2 over Christopher Bell. We'll come home for P12, and I believe we can break into the top 10 here in stage 3 as AJ Allmendinger is the final stage point scorer, as we'll pit for 4 tires and field once more. We will have to pit in stage 3. Also, I was contemplating a wedge adjustment. We go down to 15.0 on the 2 rear tires. The fronts were already at 15.0, and I was exploring a wedge adjustment, but I would end up keeping it the same as we get ready to go green. The third and final stage, ready to roll. SVG winning stage 2, starts at a disadvantage for stage 3 on the left side of the racetrack. Christopher Bell will have the advantage into turn 1. He probably will take the lead of this race as they exit turn 1 side by side, and as they head down in towards the uphill S's now. And Christopher Bell, he is just about clear, now clear, and see you later, SVG, he says. Now as Larson tries to peek up the inside of Allmendinger, doesn't quite work out. He had to lift, and now we are going to draw alongside of the 100cars.com Chevrolet, but hold on, I gotta make sure the 48 of Bowman doesn't get to my right side. He backs out of it. A big stack up on the left there from Allmendinger. We head side by side into the chicane, and we all get through here pretty clean. A lot of smoke up in front. Thought somebody was wrecking, but it didn't happen. We clear Allmendinger and Logano both into the top 10 we go, as Larson's working on the back of the 71. Terrible exit for the number 5. We're going to pull up right to the back within a couple of car lengths of that 100cars.com Camaro as we settle in here at the start of stage 3. So we've got 13 laps to go, coming to 12, meaning we cannot make it to the end of the stage. You can do 8 laps, it says on Feel, and AI, I would take that as they can stretch it to probably 10 or even 11 laps. So no matter what, nobody can make it though, fortunately. So we will have to come into the pit lane, and with the way this race has gone so far, don't be surprised if it's under green. Now, we have seen we can definitely get yellows on relaxed cautions on the road courses still. It just requires multiple cars being involved, and we've only seen one single car accident here in the Cup Series race with Chase Elliott in stage number 2. Kyle Larson working on that 71 once again, kind of struggled right there, so it kind of pulled back up to the 5, but then he would start to stretch the gap back out again. He's definitely faster than McDowell and some others in front of him, but just hasn't quite been able to get that track position, as I make a bit of a mistake right there, and that allows Logano and Allmendinger both to pull up to the back of myself. Now as we throttle up hard on the exit of the carousel, even going through the left side grass right there, could have taken the boot if I wanted to with that line I was taking. But as we now are approaching just 10 laps to go in this race, just about inside the field window, and behind me Logano had now been passed by Allmendinger, who moves back up into P11, and at this point unfortunately Larson and everybody else in front of me is kind of driving away, so I feel like we've kind of hit the limit of what this car is capable of, which is still top 10 speed here this weekend. As you see, my crew chief does recommend us to come into the pits right now. I decide not to do that. We're not going to pit yet. Larson's going to be the first one. Larson's going to come in before anybody else from P9. We'll see how that works out for him. Pitting a little bit earlier. He's going to have a lot of grip right off the bat, but he's going to be suffering towards the end of this race compared to some other drivers now, as we're just trying to now defend over Allmendinger and Bowman, and Bowman would actually get up in front of Allmendinger and behind me now as well. Here comes McDowell into the pits now, so we're going to be pitting here very soon. I was considering pitting actually at the end of lap 17 and coming in and getting tires. We've only got 2 laps of fuel, so we could wait till the end of lap 18 if we want to. But you can see on the left side, it's going to be 1.5 cans of fuel. I wanted to do 2 tires until I realized that the left sides, they are grilling. They will not make it. They will not make it to the end of this race. So we're going to have to pit for 4 tires and a can and a half of fuel, and that should comfortably get us to the end. Allmendinger had repassed Bowman again on lap 17. We are, though, however, at the end of this lap coming in. Bowman, Allmendinger, Logano, they all stay on the racetrack as we'll come in for the 4 tires and fuel and hope for it's probably going to be a 16-second pit stop, I would imagine. Waiting 15.9, actually one of the better pit stops we've had, as we'll head back onto the racetrack. There's Michael McDowell. I don't see any sign of Kyle Larson unless he just got that far ahead in that number 5. Did the undercut work for Kyle Larson? I'm starting to think it did because he is nowhere to be seen at this point in time. So as we continue now into the closing laps of this race, we should cycle back out into P10 once this pit cycle has run its course. Some drivers are really trying to stretch this long, including Ty Gibbs. Todd Gilliland is another one. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense because you don't want to get caught out by a caution and then have to pit and then go all the way to the back, because obviously drivers that have already pit, if a caution does come out, we will not have to pit again and we can just go all the way to the front of this pack. But as we exit turn 1, lap 19, right now running in P17, but still a lot of drivers have yet to come in, so we're just kind of letting this thing run its course now. Ty Gibbs has still remained on the racetrack. I think he's actually pitting right here at the end of lap 19. Yes, he is. You see the message right there. So a few more cars come in, we move up into P15. Ty Gibbs actually comes out in front of me in that number 54. He's been running well all day long, actually up inside that top 10, so great run for him, as Todd Gilliland is now out in front here. So he's in control. We're coming to just 3 laps to go at this point, and Gilliland is now in the pits. The net leader is still the 20, and after all was said and done, the pit cycle had run its course and we were back into P10. Bell out in front over SVG, and we have fresher tires than Michael McDowell, and it was showing because we were slowly reeling in the 71, coming up just with a few laps to go. Is there a chance we could maybe get to the 71, go Bowling Chevrolet for Spire Motorsports, and maybe pass him for P9? I mean, it's only 9th, it's only one more spot, but I mean, we take any spot we can at this point now. It's a big deal. I mean, just especially the money situation for this Tricon team, as we're getting just a little bit closer to the back of McDowell with now about a lap and a half remaining at this point. Christopher Bell, he just wants to see the white flag at this point now as we head down into the bus stop chicane, get up over those curbs quite aggressively now, but you can really get aggressive on the curbs here in Watkins Glen for the most part. But as we come to the final lap, you see the gap between myself and McDowell. We're just not close enough at this point now, as Christopher Bell is in complete control, looking to win his 4th race of the season. That would bring him alongside Kyle Larson at 4 apiece as we go through the S's one more time, and realizing right about here, I was just like, yep, I don't think I'm going to get to that 71, unfortunately. We could still try to hit this bus stop here and maybe get a little bit closer, and we do get a little bit closer by maybe a car length or two as we make a mistake right there on the exit though, and that really halts the progress we just made. Christopher Bell rounds the penultimate corner, one turn left, it's a 90-degree right-hander, and he'll head down the front straightaway, and for the 4th time this season, Christopher Bell will see the checkered flag here from Watkins Glen, but the story, in my opinion, is on us today. Out of the final couple of corners here, I believe for the first time since the Daytona 500 at the beginning of the season, we're going to score a top 10 for Tricon Garage. It took a road course, but we made it happen. P10 at the Glen, absolutely ecstatic with that. That is going to be a solid payout, and it's those kind of races we rely on to get this team into a better state. Kyle Larson went from P9 to P6 by being the first one to pit. That was a great strategy from the number 5 team, as Alex Bowman did not beat Bubba Wallace by much here today, only by a few spots, and Chase Elliott recovers to 29th after that self-spin earlier on in Stage 2. McLeod, Haley, and Gregson all at the bottom of the grid. My teammate of Martin Truex Jr. in P31 as we gain a spot over Daniel Suarez for P25 in the standings. But looking at the playoff bubble, Bowman is now, he's like 53 points below the cut line against Bubba Wallace. There's still a lot of work to do with 2 races left in the regular season. Next episode, we take on Richmond, and then it'll be Daytona for the regular season finale. But you see the top of the standing still Hamlin, and now 2 4-time race winners with Larson and Bell. I'll see you guys next time in Richmond Short Track Racing. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.